The day has finally come and the bird has landed, Trenton. Master's Keep Voyage is on the bar top.
The bird has landed. That was smooth. It took me, I'm usually a little delayed, so that took me a couple seconds to really kind of parse, but that was solid.
I thought all day about that.
That doesn't surprise me. You're driving around in your truck trying to figure out a good intro. That doesn't surprise me.
Well, you know, I got a text from Harry today, and he said, hey, it came in. You want to pick it up? And, of course, I said, sure.
Did you have all of them? All of them except...
Pretty close to all of them, yeah. They're pretty close.
There is one that I heard was a Australia-only release. It was like 1843. Yeah, you said. I've been trying to find it for you.
Yeah,
so you could complete the collection, but I haven't found it yet.
Yeah, the problem is I don't want to finish them, though. You see they're all about half empty.
Yeah. You'll get there one day.
One day we will. But anyways, this is a very unique bottle, and I've got a little trepidation going into this tasting today because I'm a little hesitant. That means hesitant.
I was going to say, you gotta elaborate.
Reserved.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit hesitant because, as you folks know, if you've watched the channel for a little bit of time, I'm not the biggest fan of a rum finish. I do like, there's a few I do like, but it's a small few. Most I'm not a huge fan of, unfortunately. So, I'm a little bit nervous.
I think all the ones that we've had, at least that I can remember, are rye rum finishes. Like Sagamore, we did an Old Elk pick with a agricole rum
that
finish.
I really loved.
Angel's Envy rye.
That I like. I know a lot of people don't, but it is pretty sweet. But I do like that one.
But a bourbon. I don't think that we've had a rum finished bourbon before. Knock on wood. If I remember, I'll do a little pin here. I'll probably forget.
Yeah, I'll have to look over there. There's very few though, and then also Trenton. I was a little taken back because when I went there, Harry had gone for the day, and Lori was there, and hey, do you have it somewhere? Oh yeah, he's got it back here for you, ready to go. $299.99.
Are you serious?
$300. Now, I know this bottle has been reviewed by a few people. As always, we're last to get most everything. But I never really paid attention how much they are. So he said $300. I know you picked up the last one. I know that wasn't $300 last year for, I think it's the Unforgotten.
Yeah, I won the Unforgotten in a raffle.
Oh, you did?
At,
okay.
Wise Guys. They do like an annual raffle kind of thing.
I didn't know
I was fortunate enough to get picked.
Wow.
30th, and that was still up there. Oh. And I didn't get one. I know you didn't get one, so I picked up the Unforgotten. I want to say I paid like $175.
Yeah, I thought for sure it was under 200, but
it was for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, So I'm not sure. I have to look into why the big increase. I don't know. That's a big increase. That's just not like a here's another $20-$30 on you. And that's a big increase. But there's a lot going on with this bottle, Trent. And it's a 10-year-old bourbon, so we start there. It is finished in Jamaican rum cask that held 14-year-old Appleton Estate rum.
Ooh, that's usually funkier rum. Appleton,
it is,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
A Jamaican rum will be a little bit funkier, and I'm not going to remember the name. I apologize, but the master blender from Appleton, her name is Joy Spence. She partnered with Wild Turkey to help create this bottle, which is the very first rum cask ever for Wild Turkey.
Okay. I'll have to do some research into this because I'm always fascinated by like large corporations because like Wild Turkey's owned by Campari. I'd be curious if Campari owns Appleton and they're kind of starting to mesh those portfolios together to do something. I'll have to look into that because I know Campari is one of the largest companies for liquor brands and things.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's see what we got, buddy.
The nose is
I don't even really want to get into it because I'm a little nervous about it.
We can just
talk. Let's do it. Let's get it going so we can get it done.
Undeniably rum.
Yeah, and I don't. You remember our Old Elk pick with the Jamaican rum finish on it? It was a bit funkier on the nose than this one. This seems to be a little bit more of a buttery type rum to it.
Yeah. And it smells good. Like it almost has some cinnamon in it.
Yes.
It kind of reminds me of the fall.
Almost like an apple cider to me.
Appleton. There you go.
See how Trenton puts these things together?
They should really hire me to like come up with names for stuff.
Yeah, they should.
I've said that before. Contact me.
But definitely not as funky on the nose as I expected it to be. It's right there, bud. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna use this to kind of compare. This is a Jamaican, not Jamaican. This is an agricole rum pick that we did with Old Elk.
Yeah.
And it's a rye. A lot more funky, almost a lot more.
Yeah, an agricole rum though actually is a bit funkier than the Jamaican rum too. They might both be in Jamaica. I'm not a rum expert, but the agricole rum is pretty funky.
Look at this box. I mean, you're probably paying an extra.
That's pretty.
$75 for this box. It is a cool color. I do like that.
It's pretty.
Do you keep all your Master's Keep boxes?
No.
What?
Where would I store these things? That's
in the shower.
Okay, that'd probably be the only place I have left where I can store it. All the boxes.
If the nose,
I like it. It's sweet. Yeah, got a little bit of a rum in there. You can dip. It's not funky. It's not. It seems well balanced. The aroma seems well balanced.
Have you ever had a bag of dried fruit? Mm-hmm. It smells like that kind of, with like a cinnamon sprinkle on it.
Yeah, definitely getting your cinnamon.
Yeah,
definitely getting that note for sure.
Ooh.
All right, here we go. Here goes nothing. Well, that is different.
I'll let you talk first.
I don't know what to say. That's... You know how...
You're really at a loss for words.
Yeah, I'm kind of really trying to think about this. It's super different. What I really love about Wild Turkey products is that sweet and sour arrival right at the front of the palate, and I've talked about it before. It's a bit sour, but yet it's sweet. It's kind of like a sweet and sour thing going on there. I found that on the front of the palate, but elevated big time.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean more than normal. It took me by surprise, so I got to get back into it on the second sip.
Have you had Appleton rum just as a straight pour?
Right there.
Is this the exact?
Probably no. It's not. That's their younger version. In the office, I got a 12-year Appleton rum.
I love how rum smells.
So that's a younger version. It's basically for mixing cocktails and so forth. But they had a 14-year-old rum in the barrels that they used.
Okay.
So it's going to be quite a bit more aged than the one you have in your hands right there.
Well, I'm trying to locate a bottle you have. I'm going to go off the deep end here.
You're leaving me. What are you doing?
Where's your Russells on the shelf?
Right behind me.
All of them?
Well, pretty close. What are you looking for?
I'm looking for the Russells 10.
Look behind the rare breed on the right side over there.
Oh, yeah.
Look there. There you go. Yeah, that boy, you can't remember anything around here.
Yeah, you have too much stuff.
Because you keep bringing it down.
Hey, you brought this one. This is your fault. How much is this?
$35.
So
32, 35, somewhere in there. Something like that.
So, and I'm completely ignorant, and I will admit that first and foremost about Wild Turkey warehouse locations and the differences that it has, and I hear Camp Nelson and stuff all the time. I'm oblivious to all that. You have this 10-year, and you have this 10-year, but this is finished in a rum cask.
Sure.
And it's 10 times the price, almost. Sure. About 10 times the price.
Sure.
I understand collaborations can be expensive, and I don't know the first thing about sourcing rum, barrels, and how much that might be and everything. Do we know how long this is finished in the rum?
I did not see that. This is difficult. This is very difficult for me because I am a Wild Turkey fan. I love the Master's Keep releases. Every year I look forward to them. After my first couple sips, I'm just not a huge fan of this bottle, I have to say. And it's odd because, I'm really going into this with an open mind. I'm not saying I dislike it because of the rum cask finish. Mm-mm. There's more going on in here, and I'm shocked you don't have 3 or 4 different oddball notes that you get out in left field a lot, because this one's wide open for the taking.
I honestly, I get a ton of rum, and then like there's almost no bourbon aspect to this at all. It kind of like it's really upfront heavy on the rum, like you said. It's a little sweet and sour, and then towards the back end, it just kind of like disappears.
It's very bittery too.
Yeah,
it seems it's just an odd. I'd have to sit down with this for a while to think about it.
Yikes.
In the finish, even is pretty bad. I don't want to get too crazy about it. I hope whoever bought this, whoever purchased this, if you're watching it, you love it. I really do. For me personally, as Wild Turkey is probably my favorite distillery, this might be one of the worst offerings that I've ever tasted from. Let me just say this. We got the Russell's 13, this year's release, for $150.
Yep.
Right?
That was up quite a bit as well.
But amazing. Great stuff. Really great.
Take a Russell's 13 and age that in Jamaica.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here, and I apologize for the lack of notes that I have right now.
I'm completely with you. I'm this is like a total dad thing. I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. But like seriously, I would be very interested to know if like the reason that they decided on this. If they were like, "Hey, we have some bad barrels and we need to get rid of them. Let's make this our next Master's Keep."
Yeah, okay, let's think about this. We talk about it once in a while on the channel. In my opinion, and I believe it's your opinion as well, but you could comment for yourself. A good finished whiskey is one, like if it's rye whiskey, it's one that complements the rye whiskey. It doesn't override the rye whiskey. Same with the bourbon. If it's finished in port or any kind of wine cask, you don't want to be sipping that bourbon and going, man, that's heavy wine.
Yeah.
You want it to support that bourbon and the flavors of the bourbon, the supporting character, in the bottle. This isn't very balanced at all. This is all over the place for me.
I honestly think it's all rum and bitter oak.
Definitely getting the bitter oak for sure. And you might be right. It might be, maybe in my mind, I'm keep looking for the funky Jamaican style rum, and I'm not getting the funky part.
No.
But it's unfortunately not even a very good rum taste that I'm getting out of this either.
No, and I mean, maybe that's partially why they do rum finished ryes instead, because you have that like nice heavy rye backbone of the rum finish. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But it's just same age as this, $35.
Right.
The finish is definitely rum on the nose. It doesn't transfer to the palate, and you're paying 10 times as much for a pretty box and a Master's Keep label.
You know what? I appreciated the nose.
The nose was
the
very
aromas
good.
were actually I was actually encouraged at that point before I took my first sip.
Oh yeah.
I thought this might turn out pretty good.
That's what I was thinking.
And I was a little afraid about it, but I thought, okay, we're on the right track. But boy, that first sip was like a freight train. I'm like, I had no idea what's going on in here.
It's like one of those semis that gets stuck on the tracks and just gets...
Oh, yeah. This is the way it is. I apologize. The folks out there, this is something I look forward to all the time, but we have to be honest on the show. We really do. And I appreciate their efforts here.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit of a swing and miss for me. However, if you have a chance to try this, in Trenton's words, he always say, and I'll mimic that, if you find it at a bar somewhere, try it there first. And
let us know if you've tasted it or have had it at a bar or do have it at a bar, whenever you're watching the video, what you think.
And especially if you disagree with me, because I like to have that conversation. And as always, if you love it, I'm happy for that. You don't have to agree with me all the time, that's for sure. But boy, I can't be honest behind this camera and say that I love it, because I don't.
No. And I mean, I will speak for some folks in saying that if you were looking forward to this, you're a big Wild Turkey fan, and you were unable to get it, I honestly think you'd be better off getting a Russell's 10. I'll just be honest with you.
Wow.
A tenth of the price, and
Let's have some of that.
Tenth of the price, and it's incredible.
Yeah, it's always very solid. Everything from Wild Turkey for me, and that's a little biased, and I get that, is always really solid.
Mm-hmm.
This is just. Right now I probably like a deer in headlights because I'm a little bit shocked and I really don't know what to say. For the most part, I'm a little bit. This is a surprise, a big surprise. I thought maybe with the rum cast finish, Trenton, that it would be like, okay, it's pretty good, but not one of my favorites that I have on the shelf of the Master's Keep releases. Yeah. Okay, I get that.
The nose is good, and then you just hit the palate and it's disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for the price point.
Yeah. All right, we can go on and on with this. Let us know in the comments if you've tried it, if you've had a chance, if you bought it, especially if you disagree with me, because I'd love to have that. I'd love to read that and have that conversation, and maybe I can get to understand this a little bit better. But as for now, my recommendation would be wait till next year and see what they have going on, unfortunately.
I agree.
Yeah. All right, that's all we got for you today. As always, we ask you to please drink responsibly. See you next time, right down here with Trent and I in a good old basement bourbon bar. See you later.